NBC Sports presents Cleveland at Pittsburgh. This is the essence of the game. The cities, the fans, the teams. Good guys versus bad guys. Us against them. Down and dirty, hard-hitting NFL action. You take your pick, you make your choice. It's for bragging rights, and most of all, for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's all here, and it's ready to unfold before our very eyes on this very cold Sunday afternoon at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Here are the standings in the AFC Central. This is what it is all about.
You mentioned it, Charlie. 6 of the last 7 teams in the AFC that have had the home field advantage have gone on to the Super Bowl. This is the kind of place you want to play your home game in if you're the AFC champion and have the home field advantage. Three Rivers Stadium, it'll be frozen. It'll be as loud as it is today. It'll be crazy. It's exactly what Bill Cowher and these Steelers are playing for.
The Pittsburgh Steelers won the toss. That means that Matt Stover, the Cleveland Browns, will be kicking off. And the deep back on the return is the rookie from Colorado, Charles Johnson. Remember, against the Cincinnati Bengals, he opened the game with a 71-yard kickoff return. And he has it at the 10-yard line. He is to the 20, the 25, and is wrapped up right at the 30-yard line. 19 yards officially on the return. Pittsburgh's offense. Their offensive line led by 2 Pro Bowlers, left guard Duval Love and the center Dermontti Dawson. Backs and receivers. Barry Foster, he is the starting runner back. He's hurt if he can't go. Bam Morris comes in. He's hurt if he can't go. Then John L. Williams becomes the featured back.
Charles Johnson, the rookie, comes in along with second-year man Andre Hastings, but the most important guy on every down for the Steelers today is going to be quarterback Neil O'Donnell.
First down, 30-yard line. You expect the Steelers to spend most of the afternoon running the ball, and they open it here with Barry Foster. And Foster is going to pick up just a yard. It'll be second down and 9. Let's look at Cleveland's defense. Their front 7, led by Michael Dean Perry, who was just named to his 5th Pro Bowl. Backs and receivers, Pro Bowler free safety Eric Turner leads the AFC 8 interceptions.
And when they have their druthers, they'll go to the dime defense, bringing in Booth and Thompson and trying to generate as much quick pressure as they can on O'Donnell. Make him make a quick decision.
And mark it for no gain, so it is second down and 10. And O'Donnell to throw, has pressure. He rolls out to his left, buys a little time, and the pass is completed for first down. It's to Yancey Thigpen at a gain of 15 yards.
And already for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Charlie, a big difference early in the game for O'Donnell and his receivers. Last week, there were 6 drops by the receivers, 3 by Yancey Thigpen in the first half. Right away, he manages to find the handle one way or the other on that ball. Look for O'Donnell to concentrate on his receivers, something that the safety Turner is going to concentrate, trying to read the eyes of O'Donnell.
Gain of 15, first down, 46-yard line. And back to Foster. And he'll go to the 50. A gain of 4, second and 6.
Well, coming into
Anthony Pleasant with the tackle.
Charlie, coming into this game, a lot of question about injuries with Barry Foster and with Bam Morris and Eric Green, but Barry Foster will be the featured runner today. Bam Morris has got a little twisted ankle. You're going to see mostly Barry Foster. He's the kind of running back. He wants the chance to be the featured go-to guy in a big game. Here it is.
And he's playing with a cracked transverse process. And if, as you're watching the game, one of your friends is a doctor, he'll explain that. It's a broken bone in the lower part of your back, doesn't hurt you that much. And he has, maybe 3-4 more yards. And it may hurt him, it doesn't hurt us.
Yeah, you said it doesn't hurt you much. It's kind of like a minor injury. It's an injury that happens to somebody else. To Barry Foster, it's a big injury. And the best cure for that back is this offensive line, especially in the middle with those Pro Bowlers, Duval Love and Dermontti Johnson. In the middle of the screen there, you see just pile driving off the line. Look for early yards out of the defense of Cleveland. What they do better than anybody else, they close up holes inside very quickly. The holes aren't there long.
Third down and 2. Dropped off to Foster, And he will be shy of the first down as the defense of the Browns asserts themselves, led by Pepper Johnson. And Pepper, yesterday, he could hardly wait for this afternoon.
Well, Nick Saban's the defensive coordinator for Cleveland Browns, and he goes with the old Bill Belichick. Go to the cover 2 zone, keep things in front of you, and there's a linebacker there in Pepper Johnson. You come to that cover 2 zone and keep it in front of you.
We've got flags. Here's the kick, and a fair catch is called for at the 13-yard line.
I think it's going to be Cleveland offsides, Charlie.
From the crowd reaction, they are helping the officials make the call.
A lot of penalty in the first meetings between these two teams.
Offside by the defense. Number 37. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the first big play on special teams goes the way of the Pittsburgh Steelers with that offside. Their special teams star, Vinny Thompson, number 37.
And we would like to welcome those that have been watching the San Diego-New York Jet game. We have no score here in Pittsburgh. This is the opening drive, and congratulations to the Chargers by defeating the Jets 21-6. They are the champions of the West, and they will be moving into the playoffs. They, by the way, will be hosting the Steelers at home, the final game of the season, next Saturday afternoon. Now at the 40-yard line. And Pittsburgh with a first down. Play action fake on first down. Pump fake going deep. Has a man open. Safety comes across. It is hit. Touchdown.
Very good throw by Neil O'Donnell, but you want to see a little want-to. Stephon Moore coming over. Andre Hastings just wants that. Yancey Thigpen wants that a lot more than the Cleveland defenders. Wow, that's just a case of O'Donnell putting that up for his guy.
Gary Anderson right down the middle. Pittsburgh early lead 7-0.
Something that may be a factor later, Charlie. This is into the wind. You're going right at it. A short throw, a great catch, and the perfect start for Bill Cowher's Steelers.
This is one long game.
They even ran out of food.
Charlie Jones, Randy Cross, great rivalry, 90th game of the matchup. The only way they could make this game any bigger if they gave the winner rings.
And really, the big early break goes to the Steelers on a special teams big play, and that was on a mistake by Benny Thompson. Jumped off sides, gave the Steelers new life, and a great individual effort by Yancey Thigpen.
That was the opening drive. And Cleveland now with their first opportunity on offense. And the defect on the return is Eric Metcalf, and on the near side is Randy Baldwin. Baldwin has it to the 20, heads to the far side, gets around the corner. He's out to the 30, has great speed. He's to the 40. A fantastic return for the Cleveland Browns. 42 yards for Randy Baldwin. Darren Perry finally halted his advance.
If there's one area of the special teams that can be exploited for the Steelers, and the Browns know it, that is the coverage teams. Watch how aggressive the Steelers are. You see all the Steelers go down. When they all went down, Baldwin reacts as the only way he knows how, and that's to go where they aren't. He knows he had a shot to go the full distance.
48-yard line. First down. Horde is hit at the line of scrimmage. He still manages to wiggle forward for some 4 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 6. Let's look at the offense for Cleveland. That offensive line, they have allowed, listen to this, only 13 sacks. That's the fewest in the NFL this season. Backs and receivers, mostly a one-back offense. You saw it there. Leroy Horde just named to his first Pro Bowl.
And when you talk about nickel with this Cleveland team, they want nickel to be 3rd and 4. 3rd and 3. They don't want 3rd and long for Vinny Testaverde.
And here is Horde again. Slips one tackle. Ray Seals got to it.
But the guy that broke that play up was Brenson Buckner, the rookie, number 96, who gets right into the backfield. Top of your screen, 96. Flash. Supposed to be a block down by Brian Kinchin. He went right through the head of Brian Kinchin, got into the backfield. Something this Pittsburgh defense does very well, Charlie. They disrupt, whether it's stunts, blitzes, or penetration. They ruin blocking patterns.
Third down and 8. The give is to Metcalf. He is dunked on his back. A scramble for the ball. He was decked at the 49. The Browns say they have it at their own 47-yard line. Now remember, that was third down and 8. And a couple of the trainers are going onto the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is Kevin Green, the outside linebacker, leading the NFL with 14 sacks. Cleveland did recover. It will be fourth down and long, and they will be kicking.
Watch this. In the middle, where a small guy doesn't belong, Greg Lloyd causes the fumble and gets the dog pile going. And watch what happens to Green when he gets in that dog pile going for the ball. Now he knows it's on the ground. Now he's trying to go after it. He got kicked right in the hip. You see that? He grabs that left side of his hip.
Doug Dawson recovered the fumble for the Browns. Tom Tupa will be kicking, and Charles Johnson is the return man. Pressure up the middle. Good kick. Fair catch is signal and taken at the 16-yard line and then down sliding. As he went sliding following the 37-yard punt, he was in touch by Gerald Dixon. No harm, no foul. We'll step aside. Steelers with the early lead. They're out in front, 7-0.
Some things are worth the price. By Compaq, look for the new Presario computers for that small business you call home. By De Beers, a diamond is forever. And by Domino's Pizza. Call now and order new buffalo wings, and we'll deliver them with your pizza. It's gotta be Domino's.
The report on Kevin Green is that he was just kicked in the hip. It's a mini hip pointer. He will return.
And figuratively and literally, Charlie, it's a long way from his heart to slow you down in a game like this.
Steelers first down, 16-yard line. Here's Foster, right side, slides out, slips a tackle, goes out of bounds, 5, maybe 6 yards. Give him 5. Eric Turner finally stops him.
Now, this is an area of the field that Pittsburgh's done a fine job the last month exploiting and running on. That's the outside. Eric Green getting a good block on Banks, getting back, getting another little piece. And Foster's a real runner that likes to go towards the goal line. When you watch Barry Foster run, watch his shoulders. If his shoulders never break parallel, he is gaining yards, guaranteed. And that momentum may just push him forward for the first down. Antonio Langham, the rookie from Alabama, has the tackle. What you have to do is watch a great read by Foster, because look at Turner right here. He's going to blitz right where the play is supposed to be, and watch Foster see it at the last second and hop around it. That's an excellent job by Foster.
And it is a first down right there. The ball just shy of the 26-yard line, and Barry Foster already with 17 yards rushing. On the year coming in, he had 717, a 4-yard average. He and Bam Morris combining for now more than 1,500 yards on the year. O'Donnell to throw on first down. Lots of time, goes deep over the middle, has a man open, it's Ernie Mills. Mills to the 30-yard line. 43 yards as Neil O'Donnell goes deep for the second time in the game.
A nice call by Ron Earhart. If you can't get your tight end free in the seam, you take your receiver right up the middle of the screen with Mills. When Eric Green went to the seam and breaks outside, the safety Turner went with him. That opened that wide open for the Steelers. So far for the Steelers passing, they're kind of out of character, and I think they got the Cleveland Browns guessing a little bit.
At the Cleveland 32, first down. And here is Foster, left side. He's going to pick up a yard. Go back to that pass of Neil O'Donnell. What has he done so far? Well, not all that much. He's completed just 4 of 4. He has already thrown for 99 yards, including the touchdown.
I think this is a quarterback that gets bad rapped, especially here in Pittsburgh. You got to remember, this is a guy whose job it is to be a consistent quarterback. He's got to complete 17 of 25. He's going to throw for 150, 200 yards. He's going to get a couple touchdowns, but he doesn't make the key interception.
Play action fake, rolling right. Sets up, he goes deep into the end zone, knocked away. Good defensive play. And that is Eric Turner, who knocked it away just at the last moment.
And that's a good matchup for Cleveland because Eric Green, 86 in the wing there. He's too big for most defensive backs. He's too fast for a linebacker. But for a defensive back like Eric Turner, who's probably the defensive MVP in this conference, he's just about the right size, Charlie. Not too much to handle and great position.
Eric Turner will be going to the Pro Bowl, and how did he find out? Well, his head coach came up to him a couple of days ago, and he said, Eric, Hawaii.
Typical flowery Bill Belichick comments.
Third down and 9. Over the middle, incomplete. Looking for a flag. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver, and there's the flag.
Interference by the defense, automatic first down.
Here's the call. The referee Ed Hockley. Second costly penalty against the Browns.
You want to watch two things. You want to watch the contact and watch the ball. Right there, Don Griffin, the veteran former 49er, comes in there. The contact with the off arm happening before the ball got there. Griffin's a great influence on this Cleveland's defense. He's really come in. He's not a guy that talks very much, but he's a guy that was willing to try for the big play.
Foster, left side. And he's going to pick up a couple of yards. Now for an update, let's go to Greg in New York.
Charlie, the Kansas City Chiefs are looking for a win today and one again next week to make the playoffs. They're on the board. Joe Montana to Derek Walker, 10 yards. And with the extra point, they lead the Houston Oilers 7-0. First quarter. Charlie, back to you.
All right, thank you, Greg. An entirely different Kansas City ball club with your friend Montana in there.
Night and day. I mean, I don't think they're completely convinced they can win when Joe's not there.
Second and 9. O'Donnell to throw. Wide open over the middle is Eric Green, the huge, you could say humongous tight end at 6'5", a 300-pound receiver.
86, the Pittsburgh Battle Star. Look at this guy, just physically throws off Banks. There's no linebacker to help at behind him. And you've got to get at least 2 whacks on this big guy before he gets 5 yards downfield to slow him down. And I tell you, they did what they have to do right there. If you get him down the field, you better get some help.
Look at the total offense. Pittsburgh 136, Cleveland -1. Here's Foster right side. And he does not go in. He's just about a half a yard away. We have 4:54 and counting. That is the time remaining first quarter.
You know, one thing the Cleveland Browns have done all year, just a fabulous job of, is defense in the red zone area. And that's Bill Belichick's, as you referred to it, Charlie, the red 2 zone. Well, what they're doing right now to the red 2 zone, Bill Cowher said, fine, we won't throw into the zone down here by the goal line. We're going to shove it down your throat.
3 tight ends in the set. Top. Touchdown. Foster's 5th touchdown on the year.
And for Bill Belichick and the Cleveland Browns, Charlie, this is worst-case scenario to start here in Pittsburgh. The terrible towels are out. The crowd's going crazy. You're down by 2 touchdowns, and you got to throw now.
And the extra point is good.
Not much finesse to this. This is power. But the Steelers have done it so far with fine all-around offense.
4 minutes, 21 seconds, time remaining first quarter. This is Charlie Jones and Randy Cross. Jim Gray is also with us. Cleveland Browns have had their offensive team on the field only one series. It was 3 and out. Here's Eric Metcalf. He's back with Randy Baldwin. And Baldwin from the 11. An excellent return man. And he is out to the 28-yard line. 17 yards on the return. And Steve Avery was the man who nailed him. There's Barry Foster. He scored the touchdown, but the play that set it up, Randy.
Well, actually, there's the seam area. Watch. Eric Green heads the seam, goes here. Turner goes with him. Watch Mills comes back into the seam, and he exploits it. Watch Turner, the safety. He bites, and when he bites, O'Donnell knows he's got Mills way down the middle. The pass interference on Don Griffin was big, Charlie, but that was the play that I think is starting to set the guessing tone for the Cleveland Browns defense.
And guess what? Number 91 for the Steelers, outside linebacker Kevin Green. He's there. Down 14-0. Testaverde goes to the far side. Pass is complete to Derek Alexander, good for 7 yards. Let's take a look at that Pittsburgh defense. That front seven, they can really pressure the quarterback. They have 53 sacks, the most in the league. Secondary, free safety Darren Perry. He has 7 interceptions on the year, and he got 3 of them off of Testaverde in the first game between these two teams.
And McCarr and Jones join it in the nickel. You know, a lot of nicknames trying to be applied to this defense. But when you get down to this defense, they are 60 minutes of hell.
Ernest Biner, the remaining back, he is there to block as the Browns come out throwing. And Testaverde has the completion to Eric Metcalf, and that is good for 5, and he is decked by Chad Brown.
The goal for the Browns today and their offensive coordinator, Steve Crosby, get number 21 Metcalf out in air. And in air for a Metcalf is kind of try to recreate the situation he's in when he's at his best, when he's returning. Get him out and get him in one-on-one situations after he catches the ball so he can make the big play.
First down, Cleveland. First down of the ball game for the Browns. Leroy Horde, now the remaining back. Testaverde throwing on first down. A little swing to Horde. The left flat, he drops. We were told by players from both sides an intense ball game, but they said, interestingly enough, not a lot of trash talking goes on. He says it goes on between the fans, and interestingly enough, between the newspapers of both cities.
Very, very little that goes on in the field, I think, in any real rivalry. You're too busy. I mean, if you're trying to fill up as a safety or as a linebacker, you're trying to hit Leroy Horde in the chops when he's got the ball, do you have much time to think about what will I say to this gentleman next? What kind of repartee may I come back with?
Leroy Horde on the right side. The Steelers were blitzing, sending 4, and then a delayed blitz. This time the blitz to stop the run. It'll be 3rd and 7. Kirkland and Brown with the tackle. They are the 2 inside linebackers.
I guess the proper way to describe the Pittsburgh defense would not be as a blitzing defense. This is a attacking defense. They attack the ball. Watch, this isn't a blitz. Do you see a black helmet that's not attacking the football as soon as they see it?
Metcalf is in the backfield. He's actually there as a receiver. And they throw to him, and outside. He went outside to Michael Jackson. As Eric Metcalf came back over the middle, he picked up double coverage. The pass is incomplete. 4th and 7. That means that Tupa will kick it away to Charles Johnson, and the terrible towels are swinging here at Three River Stadium.
Well, so far what the Pittsburgh defense has done to Vinny Testaverde, the quarterback, is he's making the quick decisions. He's got the 3- and 5-step drops, but there's no decisions to be made once he gets back there. He's got to throw it into a tight spot.
And here's the kick. It is high and very short. Takes a good bounce for the Browns right to Johnson, and he will be stopped near the 20-yard line. A 41-yard kick with 4 yards on the return. The Steelers have the ball. With 1:46 left to go in the first, Pittsburgh up 14-0. Pittsburgh with the early 14-0 lead. Ron Earhart, offensive coordinator of the Steelers, said, we will run the ball. Well, that's not exactly what they've done. Look, Pittsburgh thus far, 137 yards total offense, only 22 yards on the ground, 115 through the air. You would think those numbers would be reversed.
Well, much like those great Giants teams he had when he was with Bill Parcells, he's going to take what you're going to give him. If you let them have the seams and quick receivers, he's going to take it.
And here is Foster to the right side. And he'll slice through for about 3 on the play. Frank Stamms with the tackle. We go to New York for an update.
All right, Charlie, and we go to Tempe, Arizona. Arizona's Garrison Hurst ran for a touchdown. Here he takes the pitch and throws 10 yards to Larry Centers. Buddy Ryan's Cardinals keep their playoff drive alive. 14-0 over the Bengals in the first quarter, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Greg. Speaking of 14-0, Pittsburgh 14, Cleveland 0. We're coming up on the end of the first quarter. And the ball game completely dominated by the Steelers. We're down to the throw on second down. Over the middle, pass is complete. And it will be to the 30-yard line as Yancey Thigpen, who has a touchdown reception, pulls this one in.
Now, as you watch this pass, he told us something real interesting yesterday, Charlie. He said, when I look up, I see the ball, and I know it's coming with a lot of heat. I know there's a little contact coming afterwards, and he knows as much heat as Neil O'Donnell puts on this, there's a safety with a little kiss for him coming pretty quick.
For Thigpen, that is his 3rd reception of the ball game for 61 yards and the touchdown. Mark it at the 30-yard line, and it's a Steeler first down. And here is Foster to the left side. And he rolls through for 8 yards on the play. Foster right side first down. Sets it up. Foster on the first play. Goes to the left side. And we'll take the countdown to the end of the first quarter. The first one is in the book. The celebration has already started at Three River Stadium. Steelers up 14-0.
This play is designed for Barry Foster to go outside left. Watch what he sees right about here. See this bubble right here? He feels the soft spot. He runs to the soft spot. That's a pretty soft spot. Drop is back of his head.
And here is Foster with a straight shot behind his right guard. He needed 3 yards for the first down. He's going to be about a half a yard shy. In the first quarter, the domination of the Steelers, first downs 9-1. Total offense 155 yards to 14. Time of possession just about 10.5 minutes to 4.5. Across the board, all categories.
And what's really impressed me with Foster and his numbers in his running game, Pittsburgh is a running team that basically stresses blocking combinations. And Charlie, we saw that last replay. That was a man blocking play. They just took their linemen, put them on the Cleveland defensive linemen and linebackers, and said, you find the hole. We're not going to plant it, but you find it.
As you saw, they brought the chains out, 3rd down and inches. Bill Cowher, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is he a bit relaxed? No, he's never relaxed during a ball game. For the Cleveland Browns, their defense needs to make a statement, and they need to make a statement very soon.
Well, what Bill Belichick needs out of his defense is a big play. The special teams have let him down with a penalty. The defense has let them down, allowing a couple of big, long plays and their own penalties. They need a momentum staller right now, a big play from the defense.
Quarterback sneak by O'Donnell. touchdown. He goes to the 41-yard line.
That was a smart sneak by Neil O'Donnell, too, Charlie. You see a lot of times quarterbacks sneak it and kind of expose themselves to hits. Neil O'Donnell, watch his helmet and how low he gets. He is below Dermontti Dawson and his left guard Duval Love. He's down below those guys. They're not hitting him. He's getting that 6 inches.
That is the 10th first down already in the first half for Pittsburgh. Cleveland has only one. O'Donnell, it's a screen, and he's in trouble. He's throwing it away. So it'll be second down.
That's a smart play, Charlie, really, by Neil O'Donnell. And Ron Earhart, the coordinator there, knows that sometimes the best passes you're going to throw as a quarterback are the ones you don't try to kind of create and the ones you throw over the coach's head on the sideline.
He is now 6 of 8. Remember what he told us yesterday? Well, it hasn't exactly turned out that way. He said it will take us a quarter to find out what Cleveland is doing. It didn't take him a quarter. It only took him that opening drive.
Well, it's yet to take Cleveland a quarter plus to figure out what the Steelers are doing offensively.
Play action fake. Slips away, and then it's sacked. As Cleveland hanging in there, Michael Dean Perry and Rob Burnett teaming up to make the play. And that is the first big play for the Cleveland Browns defense.
One of the real prerequisites is you need a bite from your defensive line if you run play action. They've got to buy it. The defensive line of Cleveland doesn't buy it at all because they're in a stunt. You saw Michael Dean Perry came outside. Burnett went all the way inside. Unbelievable. Here's a guy going to the Pro Bowl with 3.5 sacks. There's something to be said in the NFL for being able to stop the run and having a reputation.
Third down and 23 from the shotgun. Direct snap to John L. Williams. Williams in with a little turn, and he's going to actually stumble for 3 on the direct snap. He turned because it was a bad snap.
I don't know if that was direct, sort of. Sort of. It was directly in between Neil O'Donnell and John L. Williams.
So the Cleveland Browns will have an opportunity to start with good field position as Mark Royals kicking for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mark Carrier is the return man on the far side. And he is out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. 44 yards on the kick, a 15-yard return. Cleveland will be on offense. They trail 14-0.
My pizza. Call now and order Domino's new Buffalo Wings, and we'll deliver them with your favorite pizza. When it's got to be good, it's got to be Domino's.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium. Neil O'Donnell on the phone, and excellent start led by O'Donnell for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Vinny Testaverde hasn't had that many opportunities, but now trailing 14-0. It changes the complexion of the offense of the Browns. It now goes to the quarterback. And he throws again on first down. This was the third time on first down that he has thrown. Going to the far side to Derek Alexander, and there's a flag on the play, and it will be a first down.
That's going to be pass interference against Deion Figures, 21 right there. He came over the top just a little bit early. 3 out of 4 times now. First down.
Pass interference by the defense, number 21. Automatic first down.
And actually, for the Cleveland Browns, that's kind of a code breaker. As you see Alexander working against, easily, early by Figures there. See him slip. That kind of throws off the timing of Figures, but he is all over him there. Cleveland, 3 out of 4 passes on first down. That is not what they like to do. They like to get the line physical and pound you with horror.
That penalty, 17 yards, their biggest gain of the ball game. Again, throwing on first down. Testaverde rolling. He can run. He is an excellent runner. They want him to run more. He goes to the sideline, and he is going to be out in the neighborhood of the first down, about 9.5 yards. You may not realize it. I didn't realize it until Bill Belichick told us yesterday that Randall Cunningham has rushed for more than 100 yards in a game. Steve Young, of course, has rushed for more than 100 yards in a game. And in one ball game, Vinny Testaverde rushed for 104 yards That was in 105 yards against Minnesota in 1990.
Well, you made the point, Charlie. Really, the offensive line should control this game for Cleveland. Down 2 touchdowns. It is Vinny Testaverde's game to get back into.
Second and 1. And here is Ward slipping and sliding, and he should pick up the first down. Darren Perry with the tackle. Cleveland now at the 33-yard line of the Steelers. 11:50 and counting. Time remaining first half. Steelers are up 14-0.
You know, really, Charlie, coming into this game, a lot of people around the country kind of consider these two teams as mirror images, kind of like looking in the mirror at each other. The one guy that sticks out, the one guy you have to exploit if you're the Cleveland Browns, you've got to utilize Metcalf. He is the code breaker.
Again, going on first down, far side. Pass is incomplete to Michael Jackson, and he was jarred by Rod Woodson.
Remember, Rod Woodson last week got his leg banged up a little bit, had a little knee problem, but watch him close, playing very soft, a timing pattern, and that's breaking on the ball and jarring the receiver when you get there. Watch as the ball's in the air, he's closing on the ground, and when he closes, you see the way the arms wrapped around Michael Jackson and brought that ball loose. There's that left knee is where the brace is for Rod Woodson.
Clock and watch. We'll see the protection that he has. Good time. Rolls left. Throws has a man deep. 2.84 seconds. Alexander, the intended receiver. And Lake had the coverage. Now, Bill Belichick told us that he wants Vinny Testaverde to get the ball out of there in a hurry. He said, this is what I told him. Don't make the great play. Make the smart play.
Oh, exactly. I mean, Belichick and Steve Crosby, his offensive coordinator, make the point that, Charlie, they do not want Vinny holding the ball. And if you don't want a quarterback holding the ball, you definitely don't want him holding the ball against a defense like this.
Third and 10. Has pressure, steps forward, buys time. Goes to the sideline, and it is too high. Incomplete to Alexander as we go to New York for an update.
All right, Charlie, at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis, the Colts hosting the Dolphins, who are kicking to Indy with a 3-0 lead, but not for long. This is Duell Brewer, a 75-yard punt return. Remember, the Colts still alive mathematically for the playoffs with the extra point. They take a 7-3 lead in the second quarter, Charlie.
All right, thanks for the update. Now, the Browns are not going for the field goal attempt. Tupa will just try and drop it straight up and straight down inside of the 20-yard line. It's going to be down inside of the 5. An excellent kick of some 30 yards. Ernest Biner shaken up on the play. We've got a timeout. We'll have a report when we get back.
Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Sony, the TV of choice of the NFL. By the Citizen Watch Company. Citizen is how the world tells time. And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium. The Steelers will have the ball as they start this drive at their own 3-yard line. And they will start with 3 tight ends. Eric Green, Jonathan Hayes, and Craig Keith.
And there will be at least 9 Cleveland Browns near the line of scrimmage here for in this situation backed up. What you have to look for is a missed tackle on the outside if Pittsburgh should decide to throw a little quick pass to a wide receiver.
Barry Foster. And he is going to lean out to the 5-yard line. Now, just a moment ago, Cleveland did not go for the long field goal attempt. There was a reason, and Jim Gray tells us why.
Well, Charlie, it would have been a 40-yard attempt by Matt Stover, and we're down on the end of the field here where the wind is swirling, and it would have been a 49-yard attempt heavily into the wind off the river. Even though the flags above indicate it's the other way, down here on the field, it's very cold. It's about 15 degrees colder, and the wind would have been directly into his face. Charlie?
Jim, if you figure in the wind chill factor, what is it, about 20 down there?
It's got to be less than that. We called the National Weather Service and said it's about 12 degrees with the wind chill.
Second down, play action fake from the end zone, going deep, double coverage, incomplete. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver. Stevan Moore and Antonio Langham had the coverage for the Browns.
Charlie, I mentioned earlier how the Cleveland defense has been sort of guessing. One of the reasons they're sort of guessing is that Pittsburgh Steelers and Bill Cowher are really coming out of their shell and coming out of character with a lot of these passes down the field, the play action, the bootleg, the rollouts, the whole package are giving Cleveland right now. I think 60% to 70% of what the Browns are seeing, they didn't prepare for.
Hyde will set up the pocket watch from the shotgun to see the time of protection, and he's getting it out in a hurry. It's incomplete, 11-yard line. The Steelers want a flag, and they're not going to get it. Hastings, the intended receiver, and Harrison had the coverage.
Well, I watch him as the inside receiver coming over the middle right here. I'd say that's a little bit of contact there offhand, but most of that, remember, happened inside the 5-yard area. The ball was on the 5, and that play was made on the 10. That is a legal defensive play.
4th down and 7. And here is the kick. And it comes up way short. And will be down in Steeler territory in the neighborhood of the 40-yard line. We'll step aside. Pittsburgh up 14-0.
You need to be the best.
Pittsburgh leading 14-0 tonight on NBC. Journey into the unknown with all new episodes of Earth 2 and Sequest. Kirk Douglas and Craig T. Nelson then star in the heartwarming world premiere movie Take Me Home Again. That's tonight here on NBC. Vinny Testaverde has missed on his last 5 throws, and he has a tendency but down to throw on first down, and now they go back to running, and this is Leroy Horde off of the left side. And this is more what you expect to see from the Browns. And speaking of Browns, Chad Brown makes the tackle after a couple of yards on the play.
Well, one of the real highlighted groups of this entire Cleveland Browns team in the last 6 weeks has been their offensive line. This is a big physical offensive line. They man up on people, led by their center there, Steve Everett, who definitely dances to a different beat. But here's guys that like to physically get after you. And right now, they're backpedaling. This is not their style of football.
And Leroy Horde has been held to 9 yards and 5 carries. Here's the blitz dropped off to the hot receiver, incomplete. Vinny saw the blitz coming. He goes right to Horde. He couldn't pull it in. And it was the pressure from Kevin Green.
Now what to look for here, watch as Horde comes out of the backfield. Now watch Horde go away from Vinny, but not continue up the field. Vinny is thinking he's going to be running towards the line of scrimmage, and that's where he throws the ball. You see him just be able to get a hand on it. That is just miscommunication between the quarterback and his running back.
3rd down and 8. Metcalf was in the set. Now he scampers to the far side. Ernest Biner is the remaining back. And he is looking at a blitz, and here it comes. Testaverde picked up well. Good protection. Rolls right, buys some more time, looks downfield, throws incomplete. He was throwing behind Mark Carrier. In reality, he was out of time. Excellent coverage on character. He was just avoiding the loss. And the Steelers defense stands once again.
Watch the pocket that develops like this, but watch the defensive backfield and the coverage. Watch this coverage. This is a blitz zone. It's zone behind, blitz on the quarterback, and there is nowhere for Vinny to go. He had at least 4.5 to 5 seconds, Charlie, and there was no one even close to open.
And Tom Tupa will be kicking. Charles Johnson, the return man, he's going for the corner. And it comes back in and will be down. Good play downfield by Gerald Dixon, who kept it from going into the end zone. And so once again, the Steelers will start from inside their 5 when we come back. The fans, such a great part of this rivalry. Sidney Crawford, I have an extra ticket to the Super Bowl. John. And a phone number.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to say that's not John. I'm going to say that's not John. You know, Charlie, there's fishing for minnows and there's trolling for the big dog. That's definitely trolling right there.
Cindy, I have an extra ticket also.
From the 3-yard line, here comes Foster left side. And this time he is out to the 8-yard line. Second series that the Steelers have started from their own 3. Frank Stamps and Eric Turner with the tackle.
Now, Charlie, on this play, pretend you're kind of a running back and you're trying to sense a soft spot in a defense. See, there's no real gaping hole right there. That is just a big, soft spot running behind a real physical offensive line that Barry Foster's got going for him right down. What they're doing and the reason that Barry Foster has these stats and those 44 yards and that touchdown, they're getting on their guys and they're knocking them down.
O'Donnell to throw, gets pressure from the outside. He goes deep. It is incomplete. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver, and the rookie from Alabama, Antonio Langham, with excellent coverage. Now, when Langham came into training camp, you know, there was a contract squabble like there always is with number ones. But when he came in, everybody said all of a sudden after a couple of days, whoa, that's the cornerback. He's starting.
Well, you know, you hold a grudge if you're management against guys that nowadays that hold out for too much money. But you know how long the grudge lasted once they saw those type of plays in training camp? It lasted about 3 days. They got over mad and overjoyed real quick. From over mad to overjoyed.
O'Donnell has missed on his last 4 throws, now from the shotgun, and he goes deep, and this one is incomplete. He overthrows Ernie Mills, and they're going in reality rule that pass was not catchable. He was overthrown, so there was no flag, even if there was a bit of bumping by Don Griffin. So it's 4th down. The Steelers will be kicking from the end zone.
Well, I mean, Neil O'Donnell puts this thing out. Watch this balloon up in the air. Nobody's got a chance at that balloon. I mean, balloons can't fly in this kind of weather.
And here is the kick. And Mark Carrier at the 50. Cuts back, 45. Slips a tackle, looks for a block, gives ground, and loses some yardage. 41 yards on the kick. It'll end up as a 2-yard return. A flag is down. And that flag is back at the 11-yard line. A towel was also dropped as stripped from somebody at the 46. But this conference on a pair of flags just outside the 10-yard line. We have 7 minutes and 51 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first half. And the Pittsburgh Steelers with drives of 69 yards, opening drive, and a drive of 84 yards, the 2 touchdowns in the ball game, and they are up 14-0.
The way Mark Royals hasn't been hitting punts, if you've got a shot to make him punt again, I think you take a penalty, you make him kick it. You've got the ball on the 48, but I think the field position gets nothing but better if he's got to hit another one in this weather.
And here's the call.
Foul on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield by the kicking team before the kick, number 40. There was also a holding by the receiving team, which was a post-possession foul during the kick. By rule, the kicking team foul is declined. The receiving team's foul was enforced from the end of the kick. They'll kick the ball. First down.
The reason for that rule is that the NFL officials feel is that the Steelers wanted to give up the ball by kicking. And so the first penalty on them is ignored because they did give up the ball. The penalty against the receiving team is applied. So rather than starting where the tackle was made, they will lose yardage from there. But they do keep the ball. That's the reason.
And the hold is also a bigger penalty.
13. San Diego, New York Jets, 21-6.
Now, Cleveland, in their last couple of possessions, couldn't ask for better field position.
And New England.
What they haven't done, and we mentioned it last time, Charlie, they haven't stayed with their game plan. Their game plan is letting a big physical offensive line be big and physical, let Leroy Horde run with the ball, and when Vinny Testaverde has to throw, let him do it in 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4.
The Cleveland defense has stepped up. They have stopped the Steelers after those first two big drives. And now the Browns, to really get back in it, they need to step up the offense. And perhaps, as you say, Randy, go back to what they do best. And that's hand the ball off to Leroy Horde. They take the reverse and throw a screen off of it. It is to Horde down the sideline, and he balances down the sideline, has the first down before he steps out. He steps out at the 48-yard line. He doesn't realize this. It'll go for 13. But talk about a tiptoe down the sideline.
Charlie, if that was no gain, it'd have been a win for the Cleveland Browns. That was ugly.
It was.
You're trying to fake reverse. You got the defense reading that fake reverse like a big dog.
And Testaverde gets really nailed.
He really does. Watch this. Fake reverse. Flip it out. Now this is just good running on the part of Leroy Horton. Watch his foot. Right there. About the 49, 30, 48.5-yard line.
Cleveland first down. Testaverde throws very quickly as he comes outside. Ernest Biner. A flag comes down. There may be a face mask floating around in that one. Now, a moment ago, I mentioned that Testaverde really got nailed. Well, let's go back in time, and we'll take a look at that hit. You saw Rippon loosening up very quickly on the sideline.
Well, watch him get planted here. This is artificial turf, but he gets put down hard enough by Chad Brown to get dirt on his uniform.
And what did Chad tell us when we talked to him yesterday about the game? He said, well, it's just another day at the office. A big day, but just another day.
Yeah, right, Chad.
Yeah, right, Chad.
Right.
But interestingly enough, he said, you know, I played in big games all my life, going back to high school. College at the Fiesta Bowl, playing for Colorado a couple of years ago.
Smash by the defense, 15. First down.
Now, this is the kind of mistake that Cleveland made against Pittsburgh early that gave Pittsburgh the shots. And you know, I know Cowher's only been a head coach for 3 years now, but nobody works the sideline and the officials better. Should he be working the ref? I don't know.
And that was the side of the man.
I think that was more of an ear hole.
Ear hole, yeah.
He had more ear hole than he had face mask, but, you know, Bill Cowher had a good view of that, but a lot of his sideline antics with the referees working the officials.
And the crowd. And slipping is Ernest Biner as he slips a couple of tackles and goes to the 16-yard line. He's going to pick up 15 yards in the first down on the play. And here comes the Browns as they battle back.
Well, the old dog hasn't forgotten all his tricks and how to run and where to run. You saw Biner. The great running backs, for some reason, know how to run sideways and not lose yards. I know it doesn't sound right, but he can run sideways and still gain yards.
Greg Lloyd with the tackle. And this was just a straight shot. Biner again with the call. Joel Steed stops him for the Steelers. When you look at that Steeler defense that has been so effective this year, it's been a healthy defense. Now figure you got 11 defensive starters, and they played in 14 games. Now that's 154 separate positions starting. And they've only had 10 changes due to injury over the entire season. A healthy defense for the Steelers, a big part of their success. Testaverde, a lot of time, good protection, goes to the far side. No. Michael Jackson did not get both feet inbound.
Wow, a fabulous job by the offensive line of Cleveland, just holding them out forever for Vinny Testaverde. What to watch here? Watch the feet. Can he get both those big dogs on the ground?
No, he can't even get the first one in.
Nope, the first one comes down out of bounds. One more time. The back of the first foot that landed. When it landed, it was out.
Testaverde again with time. And it is intercepted. Of the year.
Trying to get the ball to Metcalf, but watch Gary Jones want to. Good break on the ball. Watch Metcalf coming from the left receiver across the field. Yancey Thigpen, he wanted the ball more on offense. And Gary Jones breaks on the ball, and he wants this pass from Vinny Testaverde more than Metcalf wants the ball. Oh, yeah. You know it.
For Testaverde, his 16th interception of the year. the 2. Here's Barry Foster. And a couple of yards to the 4. It'll be 2nd down and 8. 5.5 minutes. That is the time remaining in the first half. Testaverde 4 of 13 for 27 yards and that costly interception.
He can't let that last interception bother him. He's got to concentrate on what he's got to do here. 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go right now in this half. They're backed up. He's going to get the ball back in good field position. He's got to concentrate on getting his team a score at the end of this half.
Steelers starting the last 3 possessions from their 3, and now their 2. And here is Foster to the right side. Defense will string him out and take him out of bounds. Did he get across the first down marker? He does, and a flag is down.
Just a little bit out of bounds. Tell them about it, Barry. From the Cleveland standpoint, you should use it as a guideline. Once you get past the photographers, that's out of bounds.
Eric Turner jawing with Barry Foster. Here is the look. And that is way out of bounds.
And it was the pull and the twist down. He might be trying to protect him a little bit, but they didn't buy the protection part of that.
And so now, rather than just the first down, with the 3rd costly penalty of the ball game for the Cleveland Brown defense, the ball goes out to the 28-yard line. Steelers are up 14-0. They have a first down. 4:52 and counting. Time remaining, 2nd quarter.
That was not a smart penalty by Eric Turner. If you're going to make a penalty and you're going to try to fire people up, do it with a big hit. Do it inside the lines. Don't do it that way.
Here's Foster to the left side. Has an opening. And he is down at the 35-yard line. It'll go for 7. Pepper Johnson with the tackle.
Well, Charlie, you remember the first quarter and most of the second quarter, they were kind of out of character throwing the ball down the field. Now they are completely in character in the last couple of plays. And their character is to pound into your face with Barry Foster and this offensive line. That's Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, trying to get inside Vinny's head here. Settle down, take it easy. I'll call the plays.
2nd down and short. Good defensive play as Foster is wrapped up by Michael Dean Perry.
Well, Michael Dean Perry was in the backfield on that play that Foster broke off, and they got the penalty on it. He almost had him in the end zone for a safety. And this is the kind of play, big play, impact play, momentum play that this Cleveland Browns defense needs. This is the kind of plays they've gotten all year long from Perry and Turner and Don Griffin and Pepper Johnson. And if you're a Cleveland Brown right now, that was a big play. You need a huge play right now.
3rd down and 4. Here's the quick pitch to John L. And a flag is down. John L. Williams needed, as you saw, 4 yards for the first down. And it's a motion call against the Steelers. So first check to see if it's a first down. And then Cleveland will make their decision.
We're not going to take this, Charlie. It's not a first down by about 2 yards.
Illegal motion by the offense, number 89, moving forward at the snap. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
It's on Ernie Mills, the wide receiver.
Top of the screen, Ernie Mills is moving. Just a little, not much towards the line of scrimmage, but a little anticipation.
You're in motion, you have to be parallel or going away from the line of scrimmage. Mark Royals to kick with Mark Carrier and Eric Metcalf, the return man. Oh, good kick. Fair catch, 15-yard line. Oh, that was a great kick, 48 yards. And be sure to stay with us. It's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, and Mike Ditka, bringing you up to date on all the scores and highlights of all the action from around the NFL. We have 2:59. That is the time remaining in the first half. They'll be talking about the San Diego Chargers, their victory today. They win the West. And what about the New England Patriots? They simply blow away. How many unanswered points did New England have against Buffalo in that ball game? They had 38 unanswered points.
That's all. I mean, that is Bill Parcells doing a fabulous job with his style of physical football. And that's what you've seen out of Pittsburgh. That's why Mike Ditka back in the studio with NFL Live got to love this type of football out of Pittsburgh. In your face.
Cleveland from their own 16-yard line. They trail by 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. Ford around the outside has the first down before he is bumped out.
That was a great confrontation between Carnell Lake and Leroy Horde. Great run by Horde. Nice gain for the Cleveland Browns, but you know, Lake kind of sent a message right there, because just as Horde tried to bowl him over, he wasn't having anything of that. And Horde is a powerful running back.
6 carries for Leroy Horde, 20 yards rushing. The offensive statements in the first half made by the Steelers.
The most important number there, Charlie, is only 6 carries this late in the first half.
And here's his second. When he comes to the outside, a little stutter step, goes back in. And he'll lean close to the 32-yard line. He's going to end up picking about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play. Let's see where they spot it. Levon Kirkland, he of the quick feet, inside linebacker, makes the tackle. They'll go for 5 as we'll come upon the 2-minute mark, time remaining.
I'll be interested to see how Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, handles these last 2 minutes with Vinny Testaverde moving this ball down the field.
Now the 2-minute warning will be given to both benches before the play can start. We'll step aside with the Steelers up 14-0.
Pittsburgh defense wins most of the time due to the impact of the best defense since the famed Steel Curtain.
3-step drop, fires it out to the right, picked up by Woodson. He's got green carpet. Brad Woodson goes over.
Great defense helps make the Steelers the best they can be.
If you're Eric Metcalf is on the sideline for the Browns.
You need a big play. I mean, it's kind of like in the Old West, they gave you 2 6-shooters. Why are you leaving your best 6-shooter, the one you're most comfortable with, and the one you know shoots the straightest and the farthest in your holster? The best player on the offense for big playability to make the Pittsburgh defense worry is in a warm-up jacket.
Second and 5. Testaverde to throw. Dumps it off to Horde. Horde slips the tackle. He's to the 35, heads to the sideline, and goes at least up the bench, picks up 6 yards, should have the first down, also stops the clock.
Yeah, you want to go mess with Chad Brown, I wouldn't mess with Greg Lloyd, who sends you back to the sideline, and here's why he's mad. See the hit by Lloyd, doesn't bring him down, and just as he's going out of bounds, inside the lines, emphasis inside the lines, the push comes from Chad Brown, and that contact with a hot seat there doesn't make Mr. Horde very happy.
Has to keep the players warm on the sideline. Metcalf now in the game.
You got to get this guy's hands on the ball.
And the handoff to Ernest Biner. Here's first down at the 38-yard line. They'll pick up a couple to the 40. And the clock moving. Both ball clubs still with 3 timeouts remaining in the first half.
You know, one thing this really doesn't show me is the play calling at the end of this half is much confidence in Vinny Testaverde and his ability to lead this offense to points.
Biner, the remaining back. And he throws far side. A flag is down. If the play stands, the ball pops loose. It is recovered by the Steelers. Pittsburgh has the ball at his Cornell Lake. And Lake back to Cleveland territory across the 50-yard line. Remember, a flag back at the 34.
And I guarantee you one thing, this involves an offensive lineman and it's probably holding. If it's not hands in the face, it's holding.
The play went for 20 yards, the return for 22. Here's the call.
Before the change of possession, there was holding by the defense, number 91. Illegal hands grabbing the face mask on the pass rush. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Second costly penalty against the Steelers. This one on Kevin Green.
Now watch Green working against Orlando Brown right here, and watch his hands. He's not working against Brown. He's working against Hartley, the tight end. See that right hand right there up into the face mask, hooking the face mask. Great call.
Cleveland 4 for 40. And you saw the Pittsburgh numbers. This one carries the automatic first down. The ball at the 45-yard line.
Now the defense on the last two possessions has made some bad moves. They've had some penalties. They've given Testaverde in this offense some opportunities. They have got to take advantage of those opportunities, and I think you got to get the ball in the 21's hands.
Minute 14 left, second quarter. And here is Metcalf on the draw, and he is down. He has 3 yards, maybe 4 from the line of scrimmage, and he is nailed by Ray Seal. Hurry up offense. Here we go. 49-yard line. Second down.
Remember what we said earlier, Charlie. This guy, Metcalf, is best out in air. Around 300-pound lineman is not air.
Testaverde throws. It's Metcalf behind him, low and away, incomplete. That'll stop the clock. 49 seconds left, second quarter.
One thing you got going on for the Cleveland offense at this moment is you look at the face of Eric Metcalf, which tells you frustration. Got a penalty against the Pittsburgh defense. Illegal contact. It's going to be a first down for Cleveland. But Bill Cowher's facing an offense right now, Charlie, that their confidence is low and their frustration is high. Now is the time you either go for a big play on offense, or if you're Bill Cowher and the Steelers, you blitz them heavy.
First down, 46-yard line. You look for Testaverde to throw. He needs some protection, some time if he wants to go deep. And he rolls left to buy time. Sets up, has good protection. Sideline pass is complete. Far side. Alexander down the sideline. He goes out of bounds with a huge play. Clock stopped 38 seconds, 31 yards from Testaverde, rolling left to the #1 draft choice from Michigan, Derek Alexander, who said to us, this game is bigger than the Dallas game.
Well, it is, and there's two great things about this play. One was the rollout to get away from the pressure, and two was Derek Alexander coming back to the ball and circling around to get the room to run with the ball after the catch.
A couple of yards to the 14, and they'll take a timeout. That'll stop the clock. Now 24 seconds left, first half.
Today, 19,000 people will start their day at sunrise. Thousands.
Cross to the Cleveland Browns. 24 seconds left, second quarter. A score in any fashion, of course, well within field goal range of Matt Stover. At the end of the half, Metcalf is on the sideline. I'm wondering if he's not bumped up something.
He's on the sideline, Charlie, but you got two big physical receivers in Michael Jackson and Derek Alexander. In this part of the field, you put it up and you let them go after it. Throw it into the end zone.
Four-man rush. Underneath the coverage to Biner. He is dropped on the tackle. The ball pops out, and they may just rule it an incomplete pass. Official is standing there at the 6-yard line. And that is going to be the call. He never had possession. Greg Lloyd was there for the Steelers. "16 seconds, time remaining first half. 14-yard line. Touchdown, Cleveland. Mark Carrier, 14 yards.
Mark Carrier, Vinny Testaverde's old teammate from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is definitely the biggest game these two guys have played in. And that was a case of somebody at quarterback going to the guy he's the most comfortable with and he's played with for the longest amount of time.
An 84-yard touchdown drive, and the Cleveland Browns score with 10 seconds left in the first half. And Matt Stover will attempt the extra point. And it is good. And the Browns have cut the margin in half. Steelers 14, Cleveland 7.
Two people get the credit for this drive. One is offensive coordinator Steve Crosby, and the second is Vinny Testaverde for hanging in spite of the adversity and getting the ball to Mark Carrier. That was a case of Carrier not being open initially, running with his quarterback as he goes out and rolls, and as he goes to him, he goes right to the ball for 6. And when you're in your biggest game, take a second.
84 yards on the drive, 9 plays, time consumed 2 minutes and 49 seconds. And just as the Cleveland Browns helped the Steelers with penalties on their drive, the Steelers with costly penalties on the Browns' drive.
It has definitely been a case of mistakes by the defenses at bad times, and in this case, it was the hand-to-the-face penalty on Kevin Green that really gave Cleveland a lot of momentum, but credit has to also go to the big guy right there, Orlando Brown, and that entire offensive line for Cleveland. They did an excellent job of keeping Kevin Green in this pass rush to the Steelers off Vinny Testaverde.
And just a squib-type kick down the middle. Covered immediately by Ernie Mills. And don't forget that Cleveland will have first opportunity with the football when we come back with the second half. But the first half's not over yet. We still have 7 seconds to go. So the Browns, with a touchdown drive of 84 yards in 9 plays, will have another opportunity. Greg Lloyd is leaving early, figuring that Neil O'Donnell is just going to kneel down.
Not a happy camper, Charlie, because he knows his defense should not have given up that touchdown. Combination of bad plays by the defense, excellent plays by Cleveland. Pittsburgh goes in at halftime mad. Cleveland goes in, breathes a sigh of relief and says, hey, it's not broken. Let's go back to what we do best.
It is halftime. Pittsburgh 14, Cleveland 7. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York. Seconds to go in the first half. Vinny Testaverde rolls to his right and made the connection with Mark Carrier for a Cleveland Brown touchdown that cut the margin to Pittsburgh 14, Cleveland 7 at the half. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Journey into the unknown tonight. Brain Snatchers.
Stadium. This is Charlie Jones and Randy Cross, and we are joined by Jim Gray. Jim?
Okay, thank you, Charlie. I spoke to Steeler head coach Bill Cowher at halftime. He said that the passing that they did early in the first quarter really did throw off the Browns. He felt they adjusted well. With the rain coming down, this freezing rain now in the second half, Cowher told me that they'd like to be able to run the ball a little bit more. He was very upset with the defensive touchdown that they gave up at the end of the first half, and he told his team, his message at halftime was to his team, hey guys, without the penalties, they can't beat us, so let's not beat ourselves. Charlie?
Jim, nice hat. And as we told you, Cleveland will have the first opportunity on offense to start the second half. And as Jim Gray told us, we now have some freezing rain that is falling here, and a slick football comes into play as you look into the eyes of Eric Metcalf. He and Baldwin are the return men, and this is high. Takes a bounce over Baldwin, goes up for it, knocks it out of bounds, and it will be out at the 24-yard line. Now, let's start the second half with a quarterback comparison.
One thing to keep in mind on Neil O'Donnell's stats there, 6 of 12 looks good. All those yards and touchdowns came in the first quarter. Second quarter, 0 for 5, and a sack for the Pittsburgh quarterback.
And the Coors Light halftime stats.
And of all the stats I want to look at right now, both teams. Jim Gray talked about the mistakes for Pittsburgh. I'm sure Belichick talked about the mistakes for Cleveland. Both teams gave up a touchdown to the opponent's offense off of dumb defensive mistakes.
And now you can see the freezing rain that is falling at Three Rivers Stadium as Cleveland starts from their own 24-yard line. And Testaverde hands off to Metcalf, now a running back. And he is out to the 30-yard line. Randy, you mentioned in the first half, they simply have to get Eric Metcalf involved in that offense.
Well, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, you're more than happy to get Eric Metcalf carrying the ball inside the tackles. You would love to have him in there. When he's at his most dangerous and where he can produce the most big plays is when you can get him in space and ideally get him matched up with the linebacker.
Second and 4. Testaverde to throw. Good protection. Comes back to a screen this side to the tight end, Brian Kitchen. And well diagnosed by the defense of the Steelers, led by Ray Seals. They'll end up losing a yard on the play. And I have a feeling that when we saw Greg Lloyd going into the locker room at halftime, that the defense had a talk among themselves.
But one thing they have to talk about when you go in against this team is where in the heck is Eric Metcalf? And on that last play, Eric Metcalf was open. The play was designed as a screen back to the other back. Metcalf went right up the left side of the field, and he was open.
Third down and 5. Metcalf in the slot. Viner, the motion man. And this is a comeback over the middle to Viner, who was in motion across the 50, 45, out of bounds around the 41-yard line. Cornell Lake finally took him out of bounds. Big play of the drive, 30 yards for the Browns, first down.
Well, what this offense on this play does, they use him much like the so-called West Coast offense uses the tight end, bringing him in motion, bringing him around, and putting him back over the middle of the field, directly over the ball and right in Vinny Testaverde's face, where he can see him and he can get him the ball, and he can get him the ball with a confident throw.
Leroy Horde now the remaining back. Metcalf goes to the sideline. Viner also goes to the sideline, and Horde gets the call. And he fumbles it. It's recovered by the Steelers.
Charlie, you mentioned the slick ball, the freezing rain falling here. A great example of bad ball maintenance when the ball has to be covered up. Watch Seals, 97, gets in the backfield. Christmas isn't for a week, but he just got his first early Christmas present, and it's not even wrapped. It's practically special delivered by Horde. Cover up the ball when it's getting slick like this.
Joel Steed knocked it loose. Seals with recovery. Second turnover. Here's Foster. He's going to pick up maybe a yard. Anthony Pleasant with the tackle. It'll be second down and 9.
Pleasant and Banks.
And Leroy Horde, he had the fumble going into the end zone against Dallas. That fumble, by the way, his 8th of the year. He has committed 8 of the 23 fumbles of the Browns this year. Second down and 9.
And Bill Cowher went over there, not Bill Cowher, but Bill Belichick went over there and make sure his offense knew that was a good start to a drive. Just come back when you get the ball back. Do the same thing.
O'Donnell to throw. Both backs in the patterns, and it was too high. Sales on him. John L. Williams, his favorite receiver. We've got a flag. And this was simply over his head.
Stamps on coverage for Cleveland.
And it will go against the Steelers. Now it was second and 9. You refuse it. It'll be third and 9. You take it. It'll be second and 19.
Correction on that preliminary. The foul was illegal hands to the face by the defense. Number 90.
That changes it.
Penalty, automatic first down.
Anytime you see a flag go that late, you know it's got to be against the defense around a quarterback. But watch Burnett, who fouls against number 90, top side of the screen, working against John Jackson, 65, the left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't get a chance to see the exact very end of that play, but what happened was he came back and gave him a shot in the face.
49-yard line, Pittsburgh first down. Steelers lead 14-7. Not quite 3 minutes deep into the second half. And here is Foster to the right. They string him out. They'll drop him for a loss of a yard on the play.
Foster, the ball carrier.
Eric Turner moving up and making the tackle. Second down and 11.
Now remember, you can see the rain coming down. The jerseys, the helmets are getting wet. Watch an important thing that'll play later in this half. Watch the running back's arms when he gets around tacklers. Watch Foster. He sees bodies, he sees trouble, he gets down and he protects the football. That's what Leroy Hoare didn't do when he got around tacklers earlier. If I'm a coach for either team right now, I am screaming that at my guys constantly.
2nd and 11. Here's the draw. Foster has some running room. Gets back inside. He will be a yard shy of the first down. He needed 11. He got 10. It's 3rd and 1. James Jones with the tackle.
Watch the big tackle, Jackson, right here. Drop out and then come out on this play to lead Foster. Kind of a slow, gradual draw. You saw him punch Burnett up the field, come out, get a shot on Stams. Nice play call by Ron Earhart and the Pittsburgh Steelers, setting up this 3rd and short.
Barry Foster playing with that crack transverse process. 21 carries, 71 yards rushing. 3rd down and 1. And he dives for it. This is going to be close. He may not have made it. Mike Caldwell was there to greet him for the Browns.
Well, excellent penetration. He was more a hurdle and a hindrance than he was a great play, but he made Foster go to the air before he wanted to.
So it'll be 4th down and short. Mark Royals will be kicking. Now he is kicking into a wind, which plays into his hands because he wants to hang it up, keep the nose up, and let it drop down inside of the 20 and give his team some coverage time.
Nobody kills a ball inside the 10-yard line better than Mark Royals.
Metcalf calls for the fair catch at the 15-yard line. So Cleveland will take over. They get away with the fumble without it costing them too much, but field position will be back in a moment.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, and nachos across the border. By Digital, doing whatever it takes to make information work for you. And by Beechwood Aged Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you.
Bill Belichick, the head coach of the Browns. Some think he's very stoic. I always find him very charming.
But don't you like this? The world peace hangs in the balance as the good guys look to overpower, cower in those evil Steelers. The best part, right there. Even Bill says this is a big game.
Testaverde hangs off. Guess what? It's Ernest Miner.
Miner, the ball carrier.
Miner now the remaining back. He's going to pick up 5 yards on the play. Let's isolate Kevin Green.
Kevin Green is coming. He's going to bring his package as hard as he can, as fast as he can, every single play. You know, there's outside linebackers, they say, well, he's a run guy. Other guys, they say, well, he is a pass guy. Gang Green is just the guy. He will come at you.
Testaverde with a screen. They're going to stop the play. The play did not happen.
I saw it. It did.
No, you didn't. It never, ever happened. And here's why.
False start prior to the snap by the offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
It's on Doug Dawson.
You know, Kevin Green, mean, tough guy that bites off the head of... is that a tough linebacker? Giving his wife a kiss before the game. I played with Jack Reynolds. He had to test him for rabies before a game.
Now I think we discovered that Kevin Green is a very smart man. Miner gets the call. Short yardage to New York. And an update, Greg.
All right, Charlie, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Joe Montana's thrown 2 touchdown passes. Now the Chiefs go to the ground. Donnell Bennett, 12-yard touchdown burst into the end zone. 21-3 Chiefs over the Oilers. 3rd quarter, Charlie.
And Greg, here in the 3rd quarter, the Browns have the ball and they trail by 7, 14-7, and they face 3rd down and 6. Testaverde rolls left, throws a juggling reception. completion. It will be a first down, and Derek Alexander pulled it in for 9 yards.
Alexander pushed out of bounds by figures.
You know, don't underestimate this freezing rain and the ball being wet, the ball being slippery, and how hard it is to do what Vinny Testaverde's doing right here. Rolling against his arm, going left, and getting this ball to Alexander takes great concentration on the quarterback's part.
And there's that freezing rain. Temperature dropping into the teens. And here is Metcalf trying to get outside. And he is completely shut down by the Steelers defense. Chad Brown, check of the ticker. Colts still leading Miami by 1, 7-6 there in the third. Giants trailing Philadelphia by 10. Kansas City, we just had the update on that one. Arizona leading or shutting out, actually, Cincinnati. Back here, Steelers 14, Brown 7. 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz. And he gets it out very quickly to the far side. Alexander, a good move, first down. Derek Alexander, 6'2", 195-pound rookie. He and Michael Jackson, the big wide receivers for the Browns. Only the 4th game this year they have both started as a tandem.
And he runs after the ball like a good kick returner. That's the best part of this young man's game I really like. See how strong that upper body is on Derek Alexander, much like you see a guy like a John Taylor for San Francisco able to slough people off with that upper body strength. Just a great effort. That's the kind of plays Vinny needs out of his wide receivers after they catch the ball.
And a Pittsburgh Steeler is down. That is Greg Lloyd, who is the injured player. We have a timeout. We'll step aside.
Take a look at Greg Lloyd. They're working on him on the sideline. He had a stinger, a burner from this. From the right, 95. The contact on Alexander. Pitches that nerve a little in the neck.
Cleveland with a first down. A fake to the reverse. Metcalf keeps. And he's out to fake. I think the ball got to the 48. He was thrown back to the 45. He'll pick up 6 yards. Chad Brown was the man who manhandled him.
I tell you, the guy that got absolutely frozen on that play was Ray Seals. Ray Seals was right out there by the exchange point that was fake between Michael Jackson and Eric Metcalf, and he stood there and watched the entire non-event. They sold him, he bid, and he watched it.
Metcalf, the remaining back. Metcalf, the ball carrier. And he's thrown back again. He may have worked his way almost to the line of scrimmage. Deion Figures got a hold of him. Now, Metcalf is 5'10", 190-pounder.
I don't care if you have the speed of Eric Metcalf. You don't want to go sideways laterally against this defense. Too much speed from guys like Levon Kirkland and Deion Figures. Third down has been an absolute cemetery for these two offenses. They have not done much.
Greg Lloyd back in the ballgame for the Steelers. Testaverde to throw. Far side has a man. Pass is complete. And it's Derek Alexander who pulls it in. 14 yards. They're going to drop a flag. That's going to be an intimidation call. Terrible mistake by Alexander. You simply cannot do that in a big ball game like this.
That's when you show you're a rookie, Charlie. You're making the plays. You're doing things for your team that nobody else on this team's doing. Your big gun Metcalf isn't doing what you're doing. You cannot afford to do something stupid.
All right, we'll go back and take a look.
Top of the screen. The play itself is wonderful. Cleveland does a great job of picking up the blitz. Alexander does a wonderful job of fighting for the yardage. That's Greg Lloyd, by the way, getting that shot in and knocking Alexander down to the ground.
But I want to say something here. I don't always agree with this particular call. You'll see the spike, and it's going to be an intimidation call. But with all the dancing and everything that's going on, and after he takes that hit.
Now, here's the problem. You know what the problem is, Derek?
Oh,
that's taunting.
Yeah, with Lloyd at the bottom.
And you know what players today got to do? I mean, sooner or later, you got to start acting like you've done this before. You've actually made a big catch. You've actually caught a touchdown. I mean, it's bad business. I think it's a bad example to young football players out there.
The ball would have been down, inside the 35-yard line. And the conference continuing now with Bill Belichick, the head coach.
Bill Belichick doesn't like it, but it's on his sideline. He couldn't have missed it. Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, he doesn't like it either, but I don't think anybody has any kind of an argument on that call.
And here are the penalties. Pittsburgh 4 for 42. Cleveland now 7 for 65. Terrible towels are out. Testaverde with pressure. A diving reception, and he does not make it. And a flag back at the 40-yard line. Alexander, the intended receiver.
Holding by the offense, number 69. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Be 4th down.
That was great pressure by that entire front of that Pittsburgh defense.
And if you're Derek Alexander, you go to the far sideline, you're walking very slowly because they're waiting for you to talk to you.
I don't walk slowly. I walk to the far side, and at this moment, don't try to get in Bill Belichick's face or I avoid him.
Tom Tupa will be punting. Charles Johnson is the return man. Pretty good kick. Johnson stays away from it. It will be down by Cleveland. It has started to bounce back. 33 yards on the kick. We have just over 5 minutes left to go in the third, and the Steelers lead by 7. We come back to Three Rivers Stadium. Let's go down to Jim Gray for an audio report.
Okay, Charlie, on that penalty, Bill Belichick was arguing that the play and the infraction had occurred after the play. Well, the official just told us that it is considered continuing action. Therefore, the play is still in process. Therefore, Derek Alexander committed the foul while they term it still to be in action and play. 15 yards, 3rd down. Charlie?
All right, we appreciate that report. And the Steelers now start from their own 20-yard line. And they come out throwing on 1st down. Lots of time. A man wide open, and it's Eric Green. The 300-pound tight end goes rambling up the far side, and the record crowd, largest in Three Rivers history, of 60,808 are cheering him on.
Trevor Johnson and this Cleveland defense made the point, you got to get on Eric Green. You got to hit him at the line of scrimmage. You got to hit him when he gets near you. You know what happened? Banks didn't hit him. Johnson didn't hit him. And they kind of generally lost track of a guy that's 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. You got to keep an eye on the battle star. Comes up limping a little bit off that last play, but remember, he came into this play with a little bit of a bad hip, Charlie. He's had that for a couple of weeks.
And because of the weather, the blimp not flying as Foster is the ball carrier. He's going to lose a couple of yards. The blimp couldn't get up for our coverage, but in place of the blimp, guess what? We've got Eric Green. Don't forget to be with us next Saturday here on NBC, as we'll be closing out the regular season. New England, Chicago, Seattle, Cleveland, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Kansas City and the Raiders, Pittsburgh, San Diego, and the New York Jets at Houston. So be sure to check your local listings and be with us for that doubleheader on Christmas Eve.
Now this was a little bit earlier. Look at the message Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, is delivering. You know what he's saying right here? They're not good enough, guys, to stop us. We're stopping ourselves, and he's absolutely right about them stopping themselves.
Second down and 12. Over the middle, pass is complete. John L. Flag is down. John L. Williams has 17, maybe 18 yards on the play. And a flag dropped back at the 37-yard line.
It's going to be a hold, I think, against Pittsburgh, Charlie.
You've got it. So some 20 yards wiped out by this penalty. This, by the way, the Steelers' 8th possession of the ball game. They scored touchdowns.
By the offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
On John Jackson. First 2 possessions, they scored touchdowns. Last 5 possessions, they punted.
Now watch John Jackson, top of the screen, 65. Working against Pleasant. That was getting your money's worth and yanking the arm and holding them back. That's keeping a guy off your quarterback. That is a smart hold. But what we've seen so far in the second half has been different from the first half, Charlie. The defense was making kind of the dumb mistakes and setting up the offenses. So far, both offenses are stopping themselves with dumb mistakes.
Second down and 22, 35-yard line. 3.5 minutes left to go in the third. And here is the draw to Foster. And he's got about 12 yards of it back as we go to New York for an update. Greg?
Michael Dean.
Charlie in Kansas City. Here come the Oilers. Billy Joe Tolliver to Haywood Jeffries. 20 yards and a touchdown. The two-point conversion attempt failed, and the Oilers trail the Chiefs now 21-9 early in the fourth quarter. Charlie and Randy.
All right, thank you, Greg. We've had a scoreless third quarter just far. Not surprising. All season long, the Steelers have allowed only 24 points total third quarter. Cleveland only 25 points total third quarter. From the shotgun. And O'Donnell is going to be sacked. That is the second sack of the ball game by the Browns. Interestingly enough, the Steelers with 53 sacks do not have a sack.
That was a smart play by Neil O'Donnell. The defensive line can woof at him all they want about him doing this, but this is a mismatch. You've got Pleasant, you got Michael Dean, you got Burnett, you got all those guys in your face. Get down and don't do something dumb like turning over the ball.
You also have a loss of 9, and here is the kick by Mark Royals, and he goes to the far side. And they want to keep it away from the returners of the Cleveland Browns, who over the years, particularly recently, Eric Metcalf, very effective. We'll step aside. Back in a moment. Testaverde yesterday, anticipating the freezing rain, said the key, he has to keep his right thumb dry. Now, how does he do that?
Well, it's not the laces. It's not this part of the ball. It's back here on this panel. This panel where the ball is, that's what has to keep dry. And when the center holds it, it's off the ground. Watch that one panel come off the ground as he lifts it. That's the one that's got to be dry for Vinny.
And it's a first down, 32-yard line. And here's Leroy Horde back to the ballgame. We've got flags. They will stop the play.
No excuse coming out of a commercial to run out of time on the play clock.
Now they'll discuss it. Now give me a little more. How does as a center can you ask for a ball if it's raining?
Well, you saw that shot we had of the ball as Steve Everett came over it. That ball was getting wet from the rain. The smart thing to do, if Everett really is aware of this, he's a young center, remember that. If he sees a wet ball, just look at the umpire and tell him, hey, I want a dry ball. I want another ball in here. It depends. If you're a 10-year veteran and you've been in a few Pro Bowls, you get it.
Snaps. False start by the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
And now a young center, like I was saying, doesn't always know those kind of things and doesn't always ask for that extra ball. The veteran's going to get that ball when he asks the umpire. Maybe a second-year guy like Everett looks at the umpire and says, I want a fresh ball. You know, this one's rolling around. The wind's got it. It's getting wet. The rain's getting it. The umpire could look at the young guy and say, just snap it.
Cleveland 70 yards of penalties. Pittsburgh 52. It off right flat. This is complete. Leroy Horde back to the line of scrimmage. Protecting the ball this time. As he battles his way for 5 or 6 yards on the play. Finally wrapped up by Levon Kirkland. He has 6. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Now watch, from the snap as the ball comes up, it's going to come up wet into the hand. The field is wet, but watch this. Dry thumb, good throw. Now watch the happy feet. The happy feet. More happy feet. That's a big man with soft, light feet.
2nd and 9. And here's Landry. He is dropped. Wrapped up by Kevin Henry. 6 6'4", 270 pounds, who was waiting for him, a loss of 3, and Viner goes hopping off. He is shaken up. Hurts his ankle on the play.
We've seen a lot of quick penetration, but none quicker than this. And why? Tony Jones on the left side and the entire left side of that line just whiffs him. A complete whiff. No one even touches him. And that's how you get a running back hurt. That's how you set up 3rd and long. And that's how you bring this crowd into it.
3rd down and 12. Testaverde rolling. Jetting. He's in trouble. He'll be sacked. First sack for the Steelers. Rod Woodson gets it.
Blitz, as you see, coming from the corner. Woodson, read blitz. He sees Kinchin, the tight end's trying to block. He just keeps bringing it. This defense keeps attacking.
And Tom Tupa to punt. Chasing it back. Bouncing it one time. Charles Johnson for the 25. Flag is down. Johnson is down to the 31-yard line.
It's going to be a hit in the back, Charlie.
54 yards, 9-yard return. Mike Caldwell for the Browns finally stopped the play. We'll go back to the hit in the back. Against the Steelers on Cornell Lake.
He was blocking on Stacey Harrison, 31.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 37. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
We have 32 seconds left in the 3rd. Back in a moment. There have been a total of 14 penalties accepted. That's total both teams. And there have been some dumb ones, too.
In other two teams, the field possession has really affected the Steelers. They've been backed up the whole game.
They start from their 11. Here's Foster around the left side. He's going to lean out near the 14-yard line, so he'll have about 3 yards on the play, as Anthony Pleasant will wrap him up. And that could well be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And it would be a scoreless 3rd quarter. And that would mean, in the freezing rain and the wind, that Cleveland will have the win in the 4th period, and they trail by 7. The Steelers scoring on their first 2 offensive drives. Cleveland scoring on their last drive with 10 seconds to go in the 1st half. So after 3, Pittsburgh 14, Cleveland 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Again, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
We come back. We start the 4th quarter. Let me correct myself. The Steelers will have the win in the 4th period. And they come out throwing on 1st down, just like they did on their opening drive of the ball game. And this is Yancey Thigpen, who caught the touchdown pass on that drive. And this one is good for 13 to the 27.
There have been a couple jailbreaks on Neil O'Donnell, but generally speaking, he's had the time to get the ball out to his wide receivers. And Yancey Thigpen so far today has done a great job of dealing with the defensive backs and pushing them off. In this case, Don Griffin. You saw him force Griffin off, get about a 3 or 4 yard cushion, and come back to that ball.
And Thigpen's stats: 4 receptions, 74 yards in the touchdown. And here is Foster off the right side. He's going to lean close to the 30-yard line. He'll pick up about 3 yards on the play. Frank Stams makes the tackle. He has 86 yards rushing, 26 carries, and we have a Cleveland Brown player who is down on the play.
That's Stams right there.
So he'll be administered to. Clock is stopped with 14 minutes and 18 seconds. That is the time remaining in the game. And by the way, if you were with us at the opening of the ballgame, you know the offensive stats leaning all to the Steelers' side. But before we get to that, be sure to join us on Christmas Day. Join NBC Sports for an exciting NBA doubleheader with NBA Showtime tipping things off at 3:30 Eastern Time. Then it's the first rematch since perhaps the greatest upset in NBA playoff history, when the Sonics, with the best record in the NBA last season, lost in the first round of the playoffs to the last-seeded Nuggets. In Game 2, the renewal of one of sports' keenest rivalries. Patrick Ewing leads the Knicks against Scottie Pippen and the Chicago Bulls. That's Seattle against Denver, followed by New York and Chicago, with NBA Showtime tipping things off on Christmas Day at 3:30 Eastern Time, all here on NBC. And we're set to go. And O'Donnell, a little swing in the flat, having a bit of a hurry. Foster pulls it in. He chugs down the sideline, and he's got the first down, goes out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Gain of 12.
A nice job by O'Donnell. He's getting the blitz right in his face. He dumps that thing off to Barry Foster. But the part I like the most, John L. Williams, the veteran, out in the flat right here, turning around, turns around and gets a good block on Stephon Moore and gets Barry Foster 5 more yards. There's a guy who had no idea where on the field he was. He's spinning around. He manages to still turn around and get himself a block.
First down, 41-yard line. Blocker John L. Williams. Gain of 3. Back to that statistic through 3 quarters. Remember the Steelers, they were way out in front on offense. Total offense for the Steelers through 3 quarters, 217 yards. Total offense for the Browns through 3 quarters, 217 yards.
And this is the kind of drive right now for the Steelers. You're talking about offensive. This is not about stats. This is about attitude. The attitude of the Pittsburgh Steelers to come off the ball and pound it into the strength of the Cleveland Browns, their defense.
Pepper Johnson just had his 13th tackle for the Cleveland Browns. And this time the tackle credited to Carl Banks. John L. Williams will pick up a couple of yards. You have the feeling that John L. had done so much for the offense from a blocking standpoint that they just ought to let him have his hands on the football.
This is the kind of offense for Pittsburgh. It's really kind of a shame that people haven't appreciated so far what the job this offense has done. Sure, they've got a tough, dominant defense, but this is an offense that's grown by leaps and bounds over the last month to 6 weeks. And this is an offense that has got enough talent to get this team into a Super Bowl.
Third down conversion, still looking for their first, and they have it here. No, it is incomplete. It was bounced. Charles Johnson could not hang on to it.
What Neil O'Donnell had, he was getting the blitz, he was getting a little heat, and he had to fire this thing to the top receiver, Johnson. Hand fighting with Antonio Langham. The ball is there, he goes down, and he can't hold on. Rookie against rookie, and the defensive rookie won.
And for Mark Royals, this will be his 8th punt. And the 15-yard line, Mark Carrier. Carrier has 5 yards, about 10 on the return. Now with 11:53 left to go in the ball game, a 39-yard punt. Browns have the ball. They trail by 7. Left in this great rivalry. Cleveland with the ball at their own 25. They trail by 7. Vinny Testaverde, remember he had that 0 for 7 stretch. He has completed 7 of his last 8 throws. Stumbles a bit going back. And the pass is complete far side to Michael Jackson. And so he has cashed in to Jackson and to Alexander, his 2 big wide receivers in the ball game. This one good for 8.
This game right now goes on the shoulders, I think, of the offensive line of the Cleveland Browns to give Vinny Testaverde a chance to get his passes off to his wide receivers and to get some running room for Leroy Horde in this rushing offense. They've got to get a time-consuming, big play drive.
Metcalf's a flanker. And this one is picked up. Chad Brown has the interception. 3rd turnover. 2nd interception and a fumble recovery. And the 1st interception of the year for Chad Brown.
Charlie, that was Vinny Testaverde's first paw pass. Because when you see this thing in the air, the first thing you're going to think of is, huh? What are you thinking? If you're going to try to fit it in, you float it in. Linebackers don't have the best hands in the world, but you can't throw it at their heads and think they're not going to intercept it with their hands. Good defensive setup. Bad decision by Vinny Testaverde.
And what they tell us about Chad Brown, he plays well in space. And he was there. This is the best starting field position for the Steelers. And here is Ernie Mills, kind of stood up at the sideline by Don Griffin.
Stopped by Griffin.
Now, I talked about the offensive line of Cleveland and Vinny Testaverde's offense establishing themselves. He's got 2 interceptions so far today. In the first game, he had 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. Has not stepped to the plate on that last play. That was a dumb play by Vinny Testaverde. The first interception was more a case of throwing the ball low and his guy getting out fought for it.
2nd and 8. He goes to the 31-yard line as we go to New York for an update. Greg?
All right, Charlie, in Tempe, Arizona, the Cardinals have all but put the Bengals away today. Larry Centers on a 10-yard run, his 2nd touchdown of the day. He also caught a TD pass. 28-7. Cardinals lead. About 10 minutes to play in the game, Charlie.
5 at the 31.
And Greg, about 10 minutes to play here. Pittsburgh with the ball. They lead by 7. It's 3rd down and 5.
Don't look for anything cute here, Charlie, out of Neil O'Donnell in this offense. This is the time you assert yourself.
Shotgun. It was behind the intended receiver. It is incomplete. He was going to Ernie Mills. And Gary Anderson will come out with the first field goal attempt of the ball game.
Remember the wind, Charlie. Whatever wind is out here, there's just a little bit of it. He's got it at his back.
And Anderson is hit from 56, 48, and 50 yards. But remember, 3 weeks ago, against the Raiders in Los Angeles, he was 0 for 3. Now this one is a 49-yard attempt. And it is good. From 49 yards away, the Steelers stretch the lead. Gary Anderson from 49 yards away. The Steelers now lead by 10. First time that Pittsburgh has made a turnover payoff in points in the ballgame and changes the whole complexion.
It really does. I think what it does, it by no means brings a panic situation onto the Cleveland Browns, but it takes this football game and puts it right into that man's lap. It puts it into Vinny Testaverde's hands. He's going to need help from his receivers. He's going to need help from his offensive line and protection. But this is Vinny's biggest game. He told us that yesterday. Now he's got a chance to go out and prove he can handle it.
And he needs help from either Eric Metcalf or Randy Baldwin on the kickoff return. Oh, here's a sailor. Taken at the 6-yard line. Here is Metcalf to the 30, and he returns to the 32-yard line. Now let's take a look at the playoff picture. Randy?
Well, the first page we're going to see is people that have clinched playoff berths. Look at this. I mean, home field advantage, for Pittsburgh is why they got to win this game, so they can host all these people here at Three Rivers. But the contenders is what's still available and still out there. And hey, the big game next week, people wanted to talk about Pittsburgh, San Diego, and whatnot. How about Bill Parcells and those Patriots going into Chicago next Saturday?
All right, Cleveland down by 10. 9:40 time remaining. And Testaverde. And he's throwing this one away. He had a screen. It was infiltrated. Out of time, throws it away, comes back to throw again. It'll be 2nd and 10. And the games that you were talking about on Saturday, New Year's Eve, led by that New England-Chicago game.
And the big late one, Kansas City and the Raiders. People wanted to bury both those teams very, very recently. That is going to be huge in the Coliseum.
And so that is the NFL doubleheader on NBC. Celebrate. Join us on Christmas Eve.
The best way to pressure a quarterback who's uncertain, blitz him and make him prove late in a big game he can handle it.
And here comes the blitz. And he drops it off. Leroy Hoard. And they're not going to make anything on that exchange. It'll be 3rd and 9.
What they gave Vinny Testaverde, they showed him the blitz, saying, quarterback, you're getting our best. You're getting 91 Kevin Green. You're getting Levon Kirkland. We're coming with the blitz. But you know what that is? That is blitz zone. Watch the linebackers. Watch the defensive backs. They are zoning 3 in the middle, 3 in the back. That's a zone. You want the quarterback to throw it short. You can support it and stop it.
3rd and 9. And here comes the blitz again. As pressure slips away. Sets, throws. Is it caught? Yes, it is. A great scrambling throw by Vinny Testaverde, 11 yards to Leroy Horde, and guess what? A 3rd and 9 conversion. It is a first down at the just shy of the 45.
This is a genetic job here. Vinny Testaverde was born a big guy, 6'5", 215, and that's why he can slough off Rod Woodson. Woodson's coming. He goes high. Never gets a chance to grab the big guy high, and he fires that thing down low.
And it's a first down. And here is Metcalf. Has 5, has 10, has a first down. He'll pick up about 12 yards on the play and quickly to his feet. Woodson with the tackle. You mentioned Testaverde told us that this was the big game. He said in his career he's had 3 big games. Interestingly enough, all on NBC. The first one, the Fiesta Bowl, 8 years ago for the national championship. That was so big they moved it to prime time on January the 2nd. The second was last week, 8 years later. The third is today.
He stepped up real big on that 3rd down when they flustered him on the first 2, and he stepped up on the 3rd.
Pittsburgh, 43-yard line to the ground. Is there anything there? Metcalf got it bouncing around. Not anything inside. And let's go to New York. Greg Gumbel in an update.
All right, Charlie, in Indianapolis, Miami had 1st and goal from the 2. This is 4th down. Marino to Mark Ingram, incomplete. The Colts hold, and they hold a 10-6 lead on the Dolphins. 2 minutes, 47 seconds to play in regulation time. Charlie?
And that just points out this really has been, I think, the greatest year of big games and exciting games on NBC and the AFC. Here's a play-action fake. Testaverde rolls. Pressure. Goes deep. Has a man alone. It is underthrown. He underthrows Michael Jackson. Jackson was 5 yards behind the defenders.
Remember the wind.
That's
the wind
right.
is coming from the right to left. Vinny Testaverde floats this ball in the air. Watch him put it up. The nose is up. The wind forces this ball down out of the air. Rod Woodson just sort of blocks it with his body. But look at the wind making that ball flutter.
And remember what Jim Gray said, near that end zone, that wind is picking up. It swirls here, but it picks up near the end zone at the right end.
A huge opportunity lost.
3rd and 9. Deep over the middle, and this one is almost intercepted. Carnell Lake almost picked it off. It will be 4th down and 9 at the 42. 6:46 left. Cleveland down by 10.
Watch him try to force this one right over the hash mark to Mark Carrier, his old receiver from Tampa. Carnell Lake had great position, and the Cleveland Browns, after that incompletion and near interception, are going for it with 6:46 left in the 4th. And Bill Belichick decides, hey, maybe a timeout.
When we come back, it will be 4th and 9. 6:46 left. It all comes down to this play. The terrible towels are out. They are airborne.
The reason this is so important with this much time, 6:46, like you mentioned, Charlie, is if you don't make this on 4th down, as you saw their percentage and how often they've done it, 4 of 9 in 94, you're running the risk of them running out the clock on you.
Blitz pressure is coming. He throws to the far side, and it is incomplete. Michael Jackson had turned to the inside. Testaverde thought he was going to go to the outside. He threw it to the outside. There was no one at home.
Watch him get the blitz. Remember, you don't want him holding the ball. He hits the 5th step and he goes. And when he goes, Jackson goes one way, the ball goes the other. He had no choice but to get rid of it before Ray Seals gets him. And they did it, Charlie, without a blitz. That was a 4-man rush with a stunt in front.
And the final score may hang in the balance of the shot that you just saw is now the Steelers are just punching out as they go from the 42 to the 45. 6.5 minutes left to go. So there's more time than I thought might be at this point. Eric Turner with the tackle, but watch the Steelers. I mean, they will work the clock.
Well, remember what Vinny Testaverde and the Browns did at the end of the first half.
Yes.
Ran it down, didn't look good, bang, 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 they got a touchdown. This is a style and a part of the offense and a part of the game that Bill Cowher and Ron Earhart, his offensive coordinator, practices with their offense. This is your sort of 6-minute offense, guys. First downs, stay in bounds, run the clock.
And they come out throwing and they throw long. Can you believe that?
Pass interference. Antonio Langham.
Ernie Mills, the intended receiver. And the Steelers running opposite all form at this point, leading by 10. They're going after him.
There's Mills, top of the screen. You said it. They have gone against the grain call-wise the entire game. Easy call. Langham with the right and the left arm.
First down.
It is a first down, 21-yard penalty. Frank Stamms, the injured player, is being held from the field for the Browns. And guess who was back with Stamms to make sure that the trainers on the Brown side knew that he was in trouble? It was the quarterback, Neil O'Donnell of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really like this young man. I'm impressed with both of these quarterbacks.
Well, you can't say enough, I think, about the job of execution Neil O'Donnell did in the first quarter with this offensive game plan. And really the guts that it took for Ron Earhart, the offensive coordinator, and Bill Cowher, the head coach here in Pittsburgh, to do what they've done with a team that's been really dogged about how they can't throw the ball and they can't make the big plays. This quarterback has made the big plays
in the big game. And that's the mark of excellence. And he hands off to Foster. And we'll work on the clock a little. Now as he goes to the 29, a gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Mike Caldwell with the tackle. 100 yards now for Barry Foster. Runs his total to 817 on the year.
Well, last week, Emmitt Smith was the first running back to go over 100 against this Cleveland defense. Now it's back-to-back weeks with Emmitt Smith and Barry Foster.
And the yellow towel saluted. The terrible towels. 29-yard line, 2nd and 5. He'll pick up 4. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Rob Burnett makes the tackle on the play.
John L. kind of picking up from where he left off last week against Philadelphia, getting those 94 yards, 7 for Foster and for Bam Morris, who we haven't seen at all today. You know, it's really been a change. If we talked about the play calling, we talked about what the Steelers have done. I think what happened here today is Cleveland and Pittsburgh came into this game. Cleveland expected another puncher, a big throw the bomb kind of puncher. What they got was a boxer out of Neil O'Donnell in this offense.
They got the boxer rather than the heavyweight. You're right. And here is the hand run to John L. Williams. By the way, looking on right here on the ball game today is a man who has been involved in 60 of these games as a player and as a coach. Chuck Noll, watching from his winter home in Hilton Head, and he, of course, enjoying the Pittsburgh Steelers and their lead of 17-7. And we have exactly 4 minutes left in the ball game.
And this is the brand of football here in this part of the field that these fans in Pittsburgh have come to really enjoy over the decades.
Barry Foster to the 20-yard line. would like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Indianapolis-Miami game here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers, with just over 3 minutes to go, are leading Vinny Testaverde and the Cleveland Browns by 10 points.
The clock's down to 3:10 now, Charlie. So far, this drive has eaten up 3.5 minutes off the clock.
And just a reminder for our audience that Indianapolis defeated Miami 10-6 in that ball game. That was just completed. And here is Barry Foster. And just to kind of bring you up to speed, speaking of speed, the Steelers want speed coming from the clock. Pittsburgh up 7-0. Yancey Thigpen, 40-yard touchdown reception. And then Barry Foster from a yard out. Pittsburgh dominating the early going. And then at the end of the second quarter, Vinny Testaverde to Mark Carrier. That came with 10 seconds left in the first half. And then maybe the icing on the cake, Gary Anderson with a 49-yard field goal coming with 9:50 time remaining in the ballgame.
And remember, this against a Cleveland Browns team that dominated physically last week on Saturday, the defending world champion Dallas Cowboys.
Third down and 4. John L. Williams to the 14-yard line. And Belichick wants, now that's a smart call because he can stop the clock, you can buy that extra play. And he does before the 2-minute warning. We'll step aside. Back in a moment.
Adventurous Nick.
2 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in the ballgame. Pittsburgh has taken 4 minutes and 37 seconds off the clock on this drive. And Cleveland, a costly mistake, cost him 12 seconds.
Well, Bill Belichick was trying to get that time out. He couldn't get his players or the officials' attention. But really, this game came down to mistakes. Mistakes by the special teams that were made, mistakes by the defenses that were made, mistakes by the offenses that were made, and the biggest and costliest mistakes were made by the Cleveland Browns.
3 turnovers for the Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers did not turn the ball over. This is a 32-yard field goal attempt. And it is good. Nope, we've got flags. Hold on.
Prematurely before the whistle. There's no foul. Re-kick.
So the ball snapped before the ball was marked ready for play. And we'll simply do it again.
We get a kick out of Bill Cowher. Looks like he can get a button on that thing on his waist and hit a button for a translation. What did he mean? You can tell when he's getting into it and he's getting intense. That chin goes out. The spit starts flying out of his mouth.
You were kidding him about his chin when we talked to him. He said, even my family, my wife and my children, know, said that chin comes out. They know exactly how I feel. He said earlier from 49. This is from 32 yards again. And that was first one a warm-up. And this one caroms off of the top of the upright. It is no good from 32 yards away. And the 2-minute warning will be given to both benches. We'll come back in just a moment to wrap this one up. Let's see what the Browns can do in the last 2 minutes if it bounces their way.
Clinch playoff berths. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, San Diego, Miami are all in for the remaining 2 spots. 3 teams are in the running. New England, the Raiders, Kansas City. We have all 3 next Saturday here on NBC on a doubleheader day. Early on, the Patriots play the Bears in a big game for both teams. The doubleheader game is the Raiders and Kansas City. The winner of this team wins the playoff spot. Let's go back to Pittsburgh.
All right, thank you, Greg, for that update on what is going on as far as the playoff picture is concerned. We'd like to welcome those of you that are watching the Kansas City-Houston game. Here, Cleveland will start with 2 minutes to go from their own 22-yard line, trailing the Steelers by 10. And here is Eric Metcalf. Metcalf has the first down, fighting the clock and the Steeler defense. A gain of 12 yards on the play. And a Steeler player is hurt. He is down. That stops the clock. And that is Greg Lloyd who is down. That is the second time in the ballgame. Earlier he had a stinger on his shoulder. Would it catch him again?
Yes, it definitely would, because, you know, remember the defense that Pittsburgh is in here in this situation. You're not going to see blitz zone you've seen earlier. You're going to see 4 guys rushing the passer, and you're going to see zone behind it, which means the linebackers have to come up and they have to fill. And that's exactly how Greg Lloyd got that little ding right there, was filling up on the last play.
And since we are inside of the last 2 minutes, here's another look.
Watch Lloyd coming right in there, goes high, and he makes the contact on his own guy, on Deion Figures.
But again, since we're inside the last 2 minutes, when you have this situation on an injury timeout, it becomes then a charge timeout. So Pittsburgh now with 2 timeouts remaining. Cleveland has 1 timeout remaining. And we have 1 minute and 46 seconds as the time remaining in the game, as Vinny Testaverde goes to the far sideline. And so the Cleveland Browns, wanting to work the miracle of the quick touchdown, the onside kick, and the long field goal, successful field goal, take them into overtime. Be very tough to do against this Steeler defense.
Well, it really will be, especially because of the type of defense we talked about that they're going to play. They are going to do much like Bill Belichick likes to do. You talked about that 2-deep zone, Charlie, early, that he likes to run to keep everything in front. That's what you're going to see out of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And so on this very cold Sunday afternoon here at Three Rivers Stadium, the Steelers took the early lead and they have held on to it. And we would like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Arizona game here with 1:46. Pittsburgh leading by 10. Greg Lloyd is the injured player. And with the timeout, the clock is stopped with 1:46 left to go. Cleveland has the ball and a lot of yardage to be picked up.
Well, the #1 priority right now this minute for the Pittsburgh Steelers is that guy that's on the field right now, Greg Lloyd. He and Green are the definition of the Steeler attacking defense. They need Greg Lloyd to go on into the playoffs with this home field advantage.
Tonight on NBC, a reminder that following the game on most of these stations, it's an all-new Earth 2, followed by an all-new Sequest. And Kirk Douglas and Craig T. Nelson star in Take Me Home Again. Viewers on the West Coast will see those shows at their regularly scheduled time. And Greg Lloyd coming to the sideline. A very unhappy camper at halftime. Now let's go back and see what happened to him again, for those of you that just joined us.
Well, earlier in the game, he got a stinger on a play with contact on Derek Alexander, and here it's a case of friendly fire. He'll go over the top of Metcalf, and he hits it on Deion Figures. And that is a banner with very good advice if you're an offensive player facing these Pittsburgh Steelers. Avoid Greg Lloyd.
First down, 35-yard line. 1:46 left. Metcalf pulls it down, and then he is pulled down. It'll be second down. They'll go to the hurry-up offense. 39-yard line. Four-man right. Pump fake, wants to go deep. Has a man roaming wide open, and it's Mark Carrier. Carrier to the 35-yard line, 25 yards on the play.
And a good job with that pump fake, selling that thing long, getting the ball underneath, because underneath is where the ball has got to go into this wind.
All right, we've got a timeout. Let's go to New York for an update.
All right, Charlie, earlier today in Buffalo, what a day for New England and quarterback Drew Bledsoe. That's one of his 3 touchdown passes on the afternoon. That when he hit Vincent Brisby. Bledsoe had 276 yards and 3 touchdowns to help set the Patriots up for a big day on Saturday. The Patriots will meet the Bears, each of them in the running for their divisional championships. It's part of a doubleheader day here on NBC. Raiders and Kansas City will meet in Game 2. The winner of this one goes to the playoffs, Charlie.
And here with with no timeouts remaining for Cleveland. The Steelers have 2. If the Steelers hold on to this victory, they will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Mentioned at the top of the game, 6 of the last 7 AFC teams with home field have ended up in the Super Bowl.
Testaverde to throw. Deep over the middle as a man. Pass is complete. That's Brian Kinchin, the tight end. Again, no timeouts, 21 yards. They'll have to hurry. Here he can just run up and spike it and stop the clock. Get everybody set and spike it. Oh, he fakes the spike. They throw to the end zone. It is there. No, he said he caught it out of bounds.
Flag on the
Flag
field.
on the play. He was faking the spike. This is that Marino play.
This penalty is going to be against the Steelers, Charlie.
If it's against the Steelers, then it can be refused. But the official in the end zone signaled it was not a touchdown.
By the offense, number 81,
Michael Jackson, a false start. Still another cost. Oh, he does. He got a running start.
He was offside by about 3 steps.
And the reason that the official signaled that it was not a catch, therefore not a touchdown, is he had picked up the play. He knew he caught a fly or a running start. That is Cleveland's 10th penalty in the ballgame, 96 yards. Oh, and it was set up perfectly.
1 minute to go. Remember, last time they got in this situation down here, Vinny Testaverde, at the end of the first half, looked for Mark Carrier, his favorite receiver from the old days at Tampa.
Up in the air to Michael Jackson, and it is incomplete. And we have 59 seconds left. Cleveland with opportunities in the ballgame.
Oh, they definitely have. It's been the turnovers that have killed Bill Belichick and this Browns team today. It's a testament to his ability to really hold this team together in spite of those 3 turnovers, that they're in the game still. They're giving Bill Cowher the indigestion right here at the end. And they're doing something smart. They're taking this ball and they're throwing it into the end zone.
2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. At the 5-yard line, this one is caught by Michael Jackson. Clock continues to move. They're now at the 2. It's a first down. They could do this again. They could either spike it or fake the spike.
Plenty of time left. 44 seconds.
And the Steelers may want to take a timeout. 43 seconds left. Back in a moment. The strategy session. Quick touchdown. 1-point conversion. Down by 3. Onside kick. Long field goal. Try to tie it up going to overtime.
And what you have here is you have a situation where Bill Cowher's got to be thinking, well, their offense has big, tall receivers. They've tried it twice already in this drive, getting the ball deep to a 6'4" Michael Jackson. If you concentrate too much on that, you forget about a guy like Carrier, but I expect the fade to the big guys.
Jackson left, Alexander right. And it is incomplete. Going to Alexander.
Tim McKyer had the defense on that play. Good body, physical position on Derek Alexander.
39 seconds left. And remember, Cleveland is out of timeouts. The Steelers now have 1 remaining.
This formation you can afford to attack as a defense. Bring the blitz. Here it comes.
And he throws it away. He saw the blitz coming. Jackson was covered. He throws it away. Buys time.
Exactly. That was Greg Lloyd inside on the blitz that came back in off that pinched nerve and put the pressure on Testaverde, forcing him to throw that one away.
You know, Lloyd is like that bunny. He just keeps going and going and going.
So far, this game for Vinny Testaverde has been a real contrast for him. First down, he's thrown a bad pass. Second down, a bad pass. He's come back almost every single time and made a big play when it was a crunch for the Browns.
Metcalf comes across in motion. Metcalf incomplete. Can't hold on to it. It was a good pass low and away because it was away from the defender, but maybe just a bit too low and away.
There's 3 things you need. You need a good pattern, you need a good throw, You need a good catch. Good pattern, good throw, no catch. You're the money guy, you expect the ball, you got to cash the check. That one bounced.
It is 4th down and goal to go.
31 seconds to go.
The fade into the corner. No good. Steelers hold. They turn back the Browns. 26 seconds left.
And celebrate now, because if you're a Steeler fan, you're on the sideline, you're Bill Cowher. Any playoff game that has to come through Pittsburgh, the advantage tilts big time to these Steelers and these Steeler fans. They have home field advantage. Very end of the play. It's a contest in a way, but really it's no contest. Jackson, Metcalf, Vinny. Not today. To the victor goes home field advantage.
Yes.
The heck with the spoils.
The spoils can wait. And for the Cleveland Browns, they're in the playoffs. Who knows? This may be a preview of the setting of the championship game. Because that all they need to do is kneel down and run out the clock. And time for us to salute the most valuable player, the employee owners of the Avis. Salute the game's most valuable player. And they are going to salute the winner of today's We Try Harder Award as we take the countdown to the end of this tremendous rivalry, the 90th meeting of the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the We Try Harder Award goes to
Neil O'Donnell. Neil O'Donnell made some huge plays, and specifically for Bill Cowher, huge plays in the second quarter, getting the scores that made the difference today.
Avis, the official rental company of the NFL. And we'll be back in just a moment. Central Division champions, the Pittsburgh Steelers, home field advantage throughout the playoffs. One of the greatest and oldest rivalries in professional football. And be sure to catch post-game excitement here on NBC with the all-new episode of Earth 2, followed by the all-new Sequest. And Kirk Douglas and coaches Craig T. Nelson star in the heartwarming holiday drama, Take Me Home Again. That's all tonight on NBC. And next Saturday on Christmas Eve on NBC, be sure to join us for New England, Chicago, Seattle, Cleveland, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Kansas City, the Raiders, Pittsburgh, San Diego, or the Jets against Houston. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. We hope that you enjoyed the telecast. We'll see you again on Christmas Eve. This has been a presentation of the NFL and NBC in our 30th year of covering the National Football League. So long, everybody, and congratulations to the Pittsburgh Steelers.